as Brandon always says, good news, bad news, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the bad news is the podcast is officially ending.
Well, baby, you've been on my mind. I think about you all the time. Oh, I want to see your face.
And it was that classic thing where everyone's like, everything's fine. And then you get to the end of the project and you're like, oh my God, we've not done anything. And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that. Because I'm the one making all the configuration changes. So like, I know we're not where we're supposed to be.
Do I have any boogers on camera? Now that I stuck that up my nose? I mean, you can't see it through your camera lens fancy thing?
No.
Oh.
You're fine.
Man.
My brother-in-law is actually like a media professional photographer, videographer. So,
Yeah. So you're used to it? You do all the things?
well, no, I just understand the personality, right? Like when I see you doing things and I'm like, I get it. I
You
know.
understand Dan's personality, huh?
Well,
That's a
Wow,
first.
that's a
That's
first.
a first. It might be the first woman that's
Yeah.
ever understood
I mean,
his personality.
I'm also, it's also very early. It might just, that might not be true. It might not be true.
But
you might know me.
by the end of
Maybe
the
not.
by the end of
Maybe
the
not.
episode, she's gonna have no idea what the fuck you're doing.
That's
She's
probably true.
yeah.
I do also specialize in strange personalities. They tend to be drawn to me, which I kind of love. So maybe it will.
I feel like-
maybe we'll BFFs after this.
Oh, I know what a BBL is, right?
Now you do.
Dad, I
Now
didn't
you
know what a
do.
BBL was. Thank you.
Let's clean you up, dude.
Today we are so blessed, Brandon. But before we turn it over to our guests, we got to talk about a few things.
Oh man, there is a lot going on.
Big
lately.
news for
Big
Sleeping Around the
news.
Podcast. Big
So
news.
we are so excited. We've partnered with Alaxo Airway Stents and had a great call with them. Got to learn a little bit about their product.
Mhm.
And this is all about nasal breathing.
That's right.
It's all about breathing better through your nose. If you're not breathing well through your nose, you can't perform. You
That's
don't
right.
get nitric oxide. If you're not breathing well through your nose, you can't sleep well.
That's right.
If you're not breathing well through your nose, you might not have good compliance with your CPAP. It might be harder to wear your CPAP or harder to wear your oral appliance.
And what a blessing. So I was able to meet their CEO, Terry, Blends, and E at the AADSM and AASM meetings this year. And if you look over our beautiful guest right shoulder, there's a reason why we have Alaxo Airway Stents prominently displayed behind our guest. We have partnered with them, and moving forward, they will be one of our very, very, very main partners. I love what they're doing for the nose.
Yep.
As you know, we talk about oral device, we talk about CPAP, talk about a lot of things, but I work with a lot of ENTs, and my big joke is, can they even breathe through their nose?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
can they even breathe through their nose?
Well, and if you can avoid surgery or maybe don't need to have surgery, you
Right.
can do this instead. And personally, this is something we're bringing into our practice so that we can look at
Yep.
how our patients can benefit from this
Good.
as well. So airway stents, if you're not breathing through your nose, it's a good product that's out there. Make sure you check it out.
I agree. And again, before we get started, I have to give a big shout out to my favorite hotel in all the world.
AC Hotel, Southwest Austin Hill Country.
That's right. It is beautiful. Sad, as Brandon always says, good news, bad news, right?
Mhm.
So the bad news is the podcast is officially ending in this studio.
The podcast isn't ending, just
In
In
this
the
studio.
studio.
In this studio. So
Yeah.
we will be officially moving into a beautiful hotel that has asked us, the podcast, to come in and partner with them and do the podcast from the hotel. So it's just the coolest thing. And I got to give a shout out to Charlotte, who's the manager over there. We developed a friendship. Obviously, our guests were staying there. I pretty much live there. Brandon found it, so I always got to give him props.
Well, it's a Marriott property. Got to get the Marriott points and looking for a place. All our guests that come into town, a lot of our guests are coming in from out of town.
Yep.
And they need a place to stay. And so
Yep.
they take really good care of our guests, and their customer service has been tremendous from day one.
By far. And I will tell you that they have Violet Sky up there, the official bar of Sleeping Around the Podcast that's on their top floor. And so they've just been nothing but great to us. So we definitely want to give them some love. In the future, not only will the podcast be housed there, but when our musical artists come in and play for us, and yes, you'll come back, they're also going to be able to play right there at the AC Lounge or the Violet Sky, dude.
Oh, that's going to be awesome.
So
Look
it's
forward to
it's kind of I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Yeah.
I like saying that and
Yeah.
smiling and looking in your
You
eyes.
want to try to do that at the same time?
Let's do it. Let's see what you got. Oh man, you have good nails.
Yeah.
I bite mine. All right, so let's get serious for a second. So our guest is, and I could say this, so you always get upset when I say a friend, but this is a very special friend, and I'm going to build up before I officially introduce you. Check out our shirts. Dan, can you get a shot of this? So we are part of her fan club. We're big geeked out Megan fans. But do you have like are we the M&Ms or do you have like a?
I don't.
Okay.
We're not far enough into it. I don't think for like. But maybe you
I like
guys
the
can start
M&Ms.
something.
And my sister would just say she's glad that you spelled it the right way.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different ways to
Yeah.
spell Megan.
Megan's,
Mhm.
I've never met another name person that is as specific about how their name has to be
Mhm,
spelled as
mhm.
Megan's. Have
It's
you
a
feel
whole
that way?
thing. Well, so my parents, I have weird names, and so they've always had to spell their names for everybody their whole lives. And when
Mhm.
they named me and my sister, they're like, "Let's do something simple that people can just spell."
Yeah.
So they just went with.
So I have to ask you
clean
before
and
we tell
simple.
the story. What is your parents' names?
Kelvin, like the temperature scale,
Yeah.
and Elsie, ELSIE.
I love that.
Would you
Right,
say
they're great.
a warm Kelvin or a cool?
Hey,
I don't
Dan,
know.
come on, here we go. So, like I meet most of our guests, I truly met Megan in a pool.
No, it's true. Yeah.
I met Megan in a pool. And so again, it's going back to Key West, everybody.
Key West. swimming
So
pool.
we're at Dante's and went there for a musical show. And I'm in the pool and I realized that here's this person in the pool that had been on my front patio of where I stay singing amazingly. And here she was, and I didn't recognize her. And she was like, "Yeah, I played at y'all's place today." I was like, "You did?" Now I could have been on something, I don't know, or drinking
Key
a little.
West.
It is Key West. But we got to talk.
Yeah.
And I was just so blown away. And obviously, I'm a big fan of Lane Hawkins. And
Sure.
so, but I'm a bigger fan of yours. And once I started hearing you sing, and of course, Megan is a singer-songwriter from the beautiful state of Oklahoma. And we were just so honored that you would come down to Austin. So, Megan, thank you for sleeping around with Dr.
Cheers.
Brennan and Matthew.
Cheers.
What are we drinking today, Brandon?
We got
What are we
We
drinking?
got it. That's kind of far.
it. Yeah.
What
know.
are we drinking today? Oh,
Our last guest stole our bottle,
yeah.
apparently.
We
Took it
are
with
drinking
him.
Old Forester,
Whole Forest.
Prohibition Edition.
Ooh.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like saying
And
that.
and this was a shout out to KJ Sturhan. This was a gift from
Oh,
KJ Sturhan
wow.
and Midnight Oil
Yeah.
to us.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, they're good.
That's a
good
great
people.
story.
Yeah, good people.
So let's jump into it. So Megan was supposed to be on our podcast on an earlier episode, but her life, guys. We're going to talk about how she got into music. We're going to talk a little bit about the Oklahoma roots. Obviously, you kind of heard a little bit about family. We might dive into a little bit of
Sure.
that. But I definitely also want to talk about her business. If Dan, can you do a shot on those beautiful earrings of Megan's? Megan does these by hand. And on social media, we'll also have something then where you can find out how she does these earrings and how to get a hold of them. And
Yeah.
Brandon will pierce his ears officially.
I also do clip-ons.
Oh,
There we go.
So
there you go.
if you don't want to pierce,
Yep.
have the commitment.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have any tattoos or piercings, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, just stick with that. I can
No,
do
you should.
clip-ons,
It's been
so-
working for you. It really has. No, I'm being serious. One of us has to be the pierce tattoo guy.
Where's your piercings? You got
No,
piercings?
Dan's the pierce guy. I'm the
Oh.
tattoo guy.
Look at his face. He's like, I am.
That's not what you told me. You did the little Charlotte's here.
Ears.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prince
Yeah.
Albert.
Prince.
Prince. How did I know that? I don't know. Earmuff. So I am excited to have you on. And
Well,
I
hold
joke.
on.
Oh,
We're
You guys
excited
are
to have her on,
blessed.
but she holds a very distinguished position with Sleeping Around the podcast.
Oh.
She's the only guest that no-showed us.
Nope.
Shit.
No. She
No,
didn't
no
no
one?
show. No. And we won't say anything. She's actually be here tomorrow night. No, you didn't no show. She canceled.
canceled.
No. We have another artist from Oklahoma.
Oh, that's a different. I'm so sorry.
Those Okies, you
I
got to
am
watch
so
out for
sorry.
us. So we're
Hold
a
on.
mess.
I'm sorry. It wasn't
Oh,
you.
it's fine.
No,
wasn't
but
you.
she is the very first guest
They canceled.
to come in on another podcast. So that's where I thought you were going
Oh,
with.
that's true too.
She was.
She is the only guest that's ever walked
So
in.
you're actually going to be on 2 podcasts. So
Oh,
that's pretty
okay.
good.
The only one that walked in. That's my
Yeah.
style.
That's your
I
style.
like your style.
I
You're
like
almost
it
like
too.
Kramer. Hey, okay. So let's jump
true.
into it. So
Story
I
of my
did. I
life.
met you in the pool, being
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
silly,
Right.
but I definitely want to
Scarf.
jump into because you do have a cool story about when you started all this. So let's just jump into it. Have you always been a singer-songwriter?
Yes, actually, I guess. I wrote my first song when I was 7. But I started playing music. My dad was a bluegrass artist, played guitar and mandolin and all that. So grew up doing that, started piano lessons when I was 5. And I actually have terrible stage fright, like crippling, horrible stage fright. So I just never thought I would be a stage musician. Actually, the first acoustic guitar I bought, he was like, "This is strictly an acoustic instrument. You'll never be able to plug it in or play on stage." And I was like, "That's literally not a problem."
Yeah.
Literally.
Because I'm only ever going to play for like, the vegetables in my back garden. So it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Here I am. I decided to try something new and just take on all my fears. And so I'm doing it now, I guess.
The
It's
first
so
time you
crazy.
went in front of, and he always goes back, but I'm curious. So the first time you actually had an audience where you had to kind of face that fear, I know you got to remember the exact
Oh
time.
my God. It was, I started open mics like so I picked up the guitar because I needed to simplify music and get where I could write songs. Because I got so technical with the piano and I just couldn't get out of my head enough to write lyrics with it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, I
Was
got
it
to,
all classical stuff? Piano,
Mhm, yeah.
Mozart.
and it's really hard to take a piano to a campfire.
Yeah.
So I needed something I could carry around.
Chicks don't dig the piano.
No, they don't.
Chicks
Or
dig the
guitars,
guitar.
That's, right. That's what I heard.
Well, unless you're Billy Joel, Elton John, Billy Joel, and
John
the other
Baptiste.
people. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean,
Sorry.
Instead of this list of 42 different
Yeah.
pianists who are amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I picked up the guitar or whatever and started open mic nights. But like I was just telling a story earlier today, I used to shake so bad. Like my friends would just be like, "Are you literally like okay? I'm worried about your safety."
Yeah, they're
what
like,
was
she has DTs. Big drinker.
So
Big drink.
what was it that was finally like pushed you to try it though? Was there, I mean,
So let's see. I have a friend who's a veterinarian, and she helped me with the stage fright thing too. So I guess surgeons also have similar stage fright if they like botch a surgery or something.
Is it the same veteran I know?
Yes,
I love her.
she's amazing. I owe her a lot.
And we had her boyfriend, Ben Brock, on our show.
yes,
She's awesome. Sam's the best. Go ahead.
yes,
Give
her
Sam a
name
plug.
is
Yeah.
Samantha. She's amazing.
Yep.
But so she gave me this article, and she's like, so surgeons of any kind, veterinarians or people who operate on people, whatever, they all have the same thing. So if you have a negative experience, you get all this anxiety. And so it talked about like stepping through it, right? Like instead of just going in all the way all the time, learn how to identify the anxiety in your body. Like,
Mhm.
how does it feel? When does it happen? Do you get nervous when you scrub in? Or is it when you walk in the room?
Mhm.
So I started doing these things. I started doing the same thing. I started realizing I freaked out when I put my guitar in the car, like just putting the
Wow.
guitar into the car, and I would flip my lid. And I'm like, okay, so just go to the bar with your guitar in the car and never take it out. So next time, go to the bar at the open mic, take the guitar into the bar and just don't sing. And so I just started stepping through it, and I just gradually, I also found a better community. I think open mics are rough. Like people
Are
don't
they?
listen. And
Yeah.
like I was playing one night and somebody was like, hey, our buddy wants to play a Garth Brooks song. Can you get off the stage? And I was like, yep. Because if that's what you want,
Wow.
it's time for me to go.
Yeah.
Well, I know the community you hang with now. And
Yeah.
so like at JJ's and all, that's not this. Okay. Right. Man.
They're amazing people. And so you find other artists like you who are like, you don't have to learn like 40 Shania Twain songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dun,
Like,
dun, na, 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 na.
let's go, girls.
Dun, do, 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 do. Not that I.
I do know one Shania Twain song because, she is awesome.
Yeah.
But like what?
Is it You're Still the One I
No.
run
Oh, no.
to?
It's a good
the
one.
only
It's
one I-
God, which one do I know? Shit. You would ask me now. I forgot.
I've never heard of that. Shit, I knew you would ask me. Charlotte's not watching right now.
I'll think of it.
No,
I'll break
we'll have
out
to think
mid
about
song.
No,
here in a
Shania's
second.
coming on in a couple months. We'll ask
Great.
her.
Great.
Yeah.
But no, so it's interesting. So it's by stepping through your fear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome. Like a lot of people don't, and Sam is awesome, by the way. She's amazing.
So she's the one during the pandemic. I was like, hey, so, play music. And I was like, what if I just come over? I was like, I need to practice weird things, right? Like making a set list and doing that and just playing in front of people, like an actual show with my guitar and singing my songs. And she's like, cool. So we're going to live stream that though. And like
Yeah.
everyone on the internet's going to watch. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? So again, freak
She's
out
the
moment.
best.
But yeah, so she work slowed down for her and my
Yep.
day job slowed down for me. We had nothing to do. And she was like, hey, so let's like do this music thing. Just give it a shot.
She's
And I was
awesome.
like, okay. You've seen her. You
Yep.
can't like argue with her.
Nope.
Like she's
Yeah.
so powerful
She is a
and like
force. Yeah.
mhm.
I
love
think,
that
you know,
about her.
it reminds me of, so if I'm going to fast forward just a bit, I
Sure.
got to watch her play on a yacht in Key West this last time. So
Oh
it's
yeah, that was
it's
such
so-
a magical experience.
yeah, my dad and his girlfriend got to be there.
Aw.
But I will tell you that it's just how far you've come even since I've known you,
Mhm.
you know, as far as the music stuff. So by stepping through that fear, it had to teach you some other lessons too. Maybe in like personal life or work life. I mean, stepping through this musical thing, I mean, did it have some residual effects on your other life?
I think that it just, God, that's such a good question. I think more than anything, it's taught me how to really set boundaries.
Nice.
Like find the thing that really just sets your soul on fire and make time for it, you know? So I still have my day job, and that's the thing that like allows me to stay, you know, here and come here and do these things, right? And like music is expensive and it costs a lot to get started. I didn't have any gear, I had nothing. And so that's the thing that's allowing me to do this, but it also is that like music is the thing that's pushing me to set proper boundaries with my day job.
I love that.
Like I have PTO today and I'm like not responding to anybody. Like
Yeah.
I am gone to you, right? Like I will come back tomorrow when I'm scheduled to come back
Yeah.
and answer all of your questions. So I've never been able to do that before. Like it's been, I work in oil and gas. So that whole industry just consumes your life if you let it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I've never been able to set proper work-life boundaries. And so I think music is that thing that's like,
Why are you looking at me?
Usually I always have a follow-up when they have like, they have a job, then they do music. You usually have great questions. That's the only reason.
I'm still kind of in awe that she worked through her anxiety and the way that she.
Do you wanna
worked
talk to
through
me
it.
about it? We can, I mean, she's
it's-
here.
No, it's
Okay.
good. It's awesome. That's
it was
really cool.
it was a crazy thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never imagined. So you know, the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 months, probably I had a friend who's just like, hey, I have connections with all these venues. We can book song swaps. So he does all the booking. And so I just, you know, every weekend I was just wearing it
Yeah.
out at these little
I
divey
was
bars.
noticing you and your
Mhm.
social media.
Yeah.
I don't like to
course.
brag, but I do my own social media.
I do too. It's so hard.
Brandon Dunn. So I'm able to see everywhere you are, and it's like it's
Yeah.
constant. And I
Yeah.
will say this: you are part of a good group. We've had him on, and I will brag about him all day long. Ben Brock is a grinder. He
He's a good
is
dude.
He is, he's
constantly
amazing.
playing every single. He would play every single night, every single. I mean,
Mhm.
it's amazing.
Can
And
I
so,
tell you a funny story about Ben?
Yeah.
please, yes.
So Samantha had just like pushed me off this little ledge, like, hey, we're doing this. And I was terrible when I first started because I didn't know what I was doing. And it was the pandemic. So nobody was busy. We were all bored. And so somehow, you know, we've always been friends with Benny's and the same. So we invited him over with some of his friends and we're like, yeah, let's sit on the back patio and just like play guitars and chill out. And I was so nervous, right? Because it's Ben Brock.
Yeah.
And I was so nervous. So he shows up and we're out playing and I play a song and he like had his guitar in his lap like this, right? And he
Mhm.
was just like, he's like, Megan, he's like, I've been like following you and promoting your stuff, but I didn't know you were good. He's
I
like,
love
I
him.
just didn't know you were good. He's like, I just saw you hustling and trying and I wanted to support you. But his whole face, his eyes were just big,
Yeah.
you know, that Ben Brock,
Oh,
like
yeah.
just like, oh my God. And I'll never forget that because like, that was probably the first time other than Samantha that someone really like believed in me. That
And
I
have
respected.
and have someone as gristled, and that's a compliment.
Yes,
as
I
Ben.
agree.
I mean, for him to
Mhm.
say that, because he'd be honest. He'd look
yeah.
at you and go,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We've
That's
helped
awesome.
each other a lot. I think, you know, I do IT stuff. And so I'm probably a little bit better at social media stuff.
Yeah.
And so we help each other that way a lot. And like, even just simple things like how do you get to bands in town on your phone? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ben helped me with that. Just dumb stuff like that, you know? So Ben and
Mhm.
he's really been like, so like critical to my, me, like,
I have
wanting
said this
to,
on this podcast, and I will say it again. This community of people, I have, and I'm so fortunate. They let me in, and I don't sing or play music, but everybody helps everybody,
Mhm.
and it's just the mentality is so different. It's
Yeah.
like we pull for each other. If somebody
Yeah.
does a big show, they all support, and
Yeah.
it's just really neat. I get to go up to Oklahoma quite a bit for my job with Somnomed. And I try to catch a show somewhere. And so
Mhm.
here's a perfect example. I was just up last week, so I went to Friends of Friends, and literally
place
the
is
average
cool.
age of this place is probably 65 and above.
Yep.
And one of my dear friends, who was also a guest, I sent you a picture. Jason Breed was playing with us, sleeping around. But I love it because it's still playing music up there, and it's all these old people that love to dance on a Wednesday or Thursday night, whatever it was. And I think that same day he delivered 3 babies, did 2 minor surgeries, and played fiddle all night.
Yeah, played fiddle.
Yeah.
Oh my
At Friends of Friends. It's just the best. So that's this community that have been my friends that were blessed to have you on the podcast. So your very first song, obviously when you were 7, what was the first song? And I'm kind of building you up to get ready to play. So here's the little hint. The first song where you wrote, you played it, and you went, okay, this is good. Was it that night when Ben looked at you, how he awkwardly holds his guitar on his belly and goes, okay, okay?
No, I don't know. I think it took me a long time to really believe in anything I was doing. I don't know. And I still doubt it a lot, I guess. But I don't know. I can't place the first song. There's 2 songs that'll end up on the album eventually that are old songs that I started writing a long time ago. And I've messed with the lyrics a little bit to just make them more impactful, I think. I don't know. I read somewhere you have to write 100 bad songs before you write anything that's good. And that happened to me for sure. I wrote at least 100 bad ones.
Well, let's dive into that. Dan loves asking this question. I'll steal it from Dan. How do you write?
Gosh, it just depends on the subject and so I guess at the base of it, I have a note app on my phone. And so whenever I get little sparks of thing, I'm like, oh, that could be a thing, right? I just write it down. And so I find that those little breadcrumbs usually just are still floating around in my brain. And so when I sit down to materialize a song, I usually pull from a lot of those. I have to go back through my notes app and delete them. Because I'll come up with this thing. It's partially cool, but partially garbage, know? And so I take the cool part and mix it in with all the other cool ideas. Well, cool.
I know what you mean.
And then
it's
you
like
just
us.
throw
Part
the trash
garbage,
away.
part cool.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's not really 50-50.
Yin and yang.
Yeah.
It takes
yin
both.
and yang.
Yeah.
So do you have a set time? Do you have a set schedule for writing where you force yourself to write, or you just write when you feel it?
I just have right now. I have to write when I'm still learning the balance between day job, and so my job my day job is very cyclical too. Sometimes it's very I'm not really busy all of the time. It doesn't take all of my brain in space, but sometimes I'm busy 12 hours a day.
Right. You don't even think it because you're just
you
in
can't
it.
and I'm when I'm gigging too, when I have a big gigging schedule and also a lot of work, I have no time for creativity. You just go to the next thing, make sure your car works, make sure you got your bag with your cords and everything's functioning, and day job's the same, right? Make sure all the mechanics are there. So that's the other part of the reason for a slower summer schedule, which seems so backwards because summer is usually busier. But I'm going to the James Taylor show in Wichita next week, and I'm so excited. I'm probably gonna cry during the whole thing. But it's just, I think you have to make time for that too, because being creative and being inspired are these crazy concepts, right? That you can't. You can force yourself to be disciplined, but you can't force yourself to be creative.
Wow. Say that again.
You can force yourself to be disciplined, but you can't force yourself to be creative. So it takes space and time. It takes sleep. That's part of my thing. If I'm not rested, I don't.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. So that's interesting. I've never heard anybody say that. I consider myself a pretty disciplined guy, and I don't know if I'm forcing it on myself, but you're right.
And not very creative.
Even when
I don't know if so I argue with that. I think everyone is. I think everybody is born creative. I think people are. I think we train it out of ourselves. I think everyone's born musicians and painters, and we just train ourselves to think we're not.
Wow.
And so then we grow up and we just put it down. But I think everyone.
Or it's not nurtured. It's not nurtured at all.
One of the things is kids are curious, right? So young people are curious and they ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then as you get older, it starts to make you feel dumb, or people start to make you feel dumb if you're asking questions, or you just feel dumb because you don't know the answer. And so you're asking a question or whatever the case is. And that trains the curiosity out of, and trains some of the creativity out of people, I think. I definitely was one of those. I did not ever consider myself creative.
So I was. And that's why I think this is hitting me hard. And I'm not being funny here. I'm usually goofy. I was so into drawing and painting. I had a drawing table in my bedroom.
I love that.
And I was hardcore with it. But I think when I moved to Yukon, Oklahoma, 3rd grade, and it just wasn't looked at as the same. And I was the short, fat kid that could draw, but I always wanted to be something else.
Is that why you asked me to model for you the other day?
So I could draw you? You're so
It was so awkward.
I always ask you to model for me.
Like your French Canadian girl.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay. All right. On that note, good Lord, this just took a left turn. Megan, what I'd like to ask you to do is get up here and sing one of your beautiful songs.
Sure.
The first time I heard you sing was on the patio in Key West.
Mhm.
And me and my dad were sitting next to each other. I was so blessed to be able to bring my dad to Key West. It's been a
Such a
big
cool
thing. It
experience.
is. And I'm always running around. If you know anything about me, I never just sit still.
Mhm.
And my dad was like, sit here for her.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
said that.
Because he just had like a vibe, and your vibe is so different. What I think our audience is really going to enjoy, and one of the main reasons I'm having you on, Megan, is you're different. I like different. I like the tone of your voice. When someone asked me, what are you saying? One of our last guests asked, who was coming in, I said, you remind me of like a folk singer more than a red dirt country singer. And I love,
Thank you.
it's more of an Emmylou Harris to me.
Aw.
More than a Shania Twain,
Yeah.
and I love that about you. And I think you're hip.
Thanks.
So yeah,
So I told you guys I'm a piano player. So when I picked up the guitar, I didn't know anything about how to strum a guitar. I'm actually still not that good at it. I'm still learning how to strum a guitar, which is such a weird thing to say. But so one of my friends taught me this finger picking song, and I was like, that I can do. And still, like, it's still kind of my safe space.
Mhm.
So I just wrote this song with this finger picking style that I just sort of, I don't know. I thought it was standard Travis picking, but I played it for another guitar player, and he was like, I don't know what that is, Megan. People don't finger pick with 4 fingers. And I was like, I don't know.
So we'll call it the Megan method. Let's
Yeah,
do the
I
Megan
guess
method.
so. I guess if it's the Travis, like I
Thank
could
you.
have one named
That's
after
right.
me. I never thought about that. It's funny. But anyway, so one of the things that I love to do is I'd love to take road trips, and I like driving with the windows down.
Mhm.
So that's what this song is about.
Okay.
It's called Blue Skies. Rolling through the desert with all the windows down. Riding shotgun with you, I'm the luckiest girl around. I'm dancing in the seat, singing all our favorite songs. I'm acting like a fool, but you just smile and sing along. Baby, we're far from being perfect. We've both got a past we're trying to leave. With you by my side, the sun always shines, and all I see is nothing but blue skies up ahead. When I catch you staring at me, the stars light up your eyes. I swear you think I'm magic, I won't tell you otherwise. No one knows what our future holds, what troubles we might find. But I'm not scared of anything as long as you are mine. Baby, we're far from being perfect. We both got a past we're trying to leave. With you by my side, the sun always shines, and all I see is nothing but blue skies up ahead. Rolling on down the highway, the sun is sinking low. You kiss my hand and sing to me every love song you know. And I can't help but wish for things to always stay this way. I kinda hope you'll be the one who won't wander away. Baby, we're far from being perfect, but what if we both choose not to leave? With you by my side, the sun always shines, and all I see is nothing but blue skies up ahead.
Wow. So you are, stay up there. Hold on,
Okay.
stay up there. You are a throwback. I don't know if you caught this on camera, but I video just sent it to my dad and his girlfriend, Miss Louise, because they so enjoyed. I mean, of course, the location of the last meeting.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Magical, right?
Well, who was on there? We were with Ben Brock, Jason Scott and High Heat, the people, we won't say their names, who own the yacht, and my dad and Louise.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Jason's band was there.
And then Lane was, it was
Mhm.
freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That was a neat experience. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? John Goldsby was there.
Goolsby. I got a picture of
Yeah.
Goals. Yeah. And who's also been on the show.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I think it was so powerful. And then out of all the artists, Miss Louise and Dad were like, man, she's so good.
Aw.
So I just did a video. How did you create this style? Because, do you recognize that it's different? Or is it just me? Is this just a Matthew thing saying?
I don't know. I guess my inspirations come from everywhere. I listen to a lot of old folk music like Simon and Garfunkel
Yeah.
and things like that. And I guess
They
I've-
speak to you.
Yeah, I've always been driven by that and bluegrass, old stuff like
With
that.
your
I
dad's
yeah.
connection.
And I wrote poetry for years, like I said, all bad. But I love lyrics. Like I've always been drawn to little twists and turns and like internal rhyming and like just people who write differently. And so I think just listening to those types of artists, I don't know, everything.
So let me
sits
ask
in
you,
your
you've
head
never
and-
heard her before, correct?
Never.
Okay.
That song was adorable.
But
Oh,
do you
thank
agree
you.
with what I'm saying though? Isn't it? It's just unique. It's like a throwback in time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really,
I mostly write sad songs. That's one of
no,
my
that's
like,
okay.
two
That's-
happy songs. Actually,
No, that's okay. So would you like to play one of your sad songs? now?
Speaking of sad songs,
And,
I'm not trying to make you cry. But
No. So Dan was he was cheating on us. Did you know this?
I didn't know this.
Yeah, he was with
look, news.
he was another podcast person.
He's got.
Oh, it is one of the podcasts.
Who was the other?
Well, he used to have
podcast?
a podcast, right?
He has a podcast. It's just
Oh, until he gets you, you're not going
I
anywhere.
can work with as many podcasts as I want. In
Whoa.
fact, that's the goal.
Oh, we're in Austin, so it's like poly podcasting or whatever. I'll be.
He's polyamorous.
Good Lord,
Polypodcast
man.
amorous.
DanGalvan.com. Anybody wants to start a podcast?
My goodness, man, what happened? Did I miss something?
I guess so.
Well, anyway, so Dan was at an event this weekend and saw his ex. And so we went out to lunch today with the people from AC Hotel. And Dan was honest. He was like,
I
yeah,
heard you
sorry.
ran into Alyssa.
We did. We did. Oh, no, okay. Dan's giving me, we don't want to, okay. Really? You of all people?
Abort.
Not
You're-
that one. Not that one.
You have me talk about everything on here. Okay.
All right.
That's
We-
fair.
We won't talk about it. His ex was there too?
No, we're
Alyssa
gonna. I
and his
guarantee you,
ex?
this will be edited out. Watch this; it'll be edited. He'll do his best editing job ever. But let's just say he's doing good, right, Dan?
A-okay.
Hey, okay.
You
He's
son
good.
of a
Everybody's
gun.
good. So was it awkward? Was he awkward about it?
No, he was great.
That's cool.
Now he's being awkward.
He's being awkward now. Why are you being awkward now?
So you admit to
Do you have
cheating
any-
on us, and that
do you have
isn't
any,
awkward.
Do you have any songs about running into exes?
Or cheating on another podcast?
It's very specific.
Well,
I have a song about that. I do have a song about dating a narcissist. If that's something.
is
that
the name of
applies.
the name of it Dr. Brandon Hedgecock? I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
You're an ass.
Every song isn't about you, Brandon.
Not
Play just a
avenues.
tidbit of the narcissist, the Brandon Hedgecock song, real quick. Let me hear it. Just a tidbit.
Yeah.
I love this stuff.
Brandon.
That's right. And then what did he do? You were handsome, charismatic. What's not to love? Maybe it is about you.
Wait, you said charismatic?
Fell for a smile and your simple touch. Well, I was all in, heart first, no looking back. I would have done anything you asked, just to be the girl caught in that rush. Now I'm the one that's feeling guilty guilty. You knew I would. Keep going.
I'm kind of curious now.
No, I love it.
You twist me up with self-doubt. I feel crazy. I question my sanity. And my mind's a living hell. But when your heart's hungry, even lies satisfied. Baby, I love you is my favorite one you tell. I'm the one that's feeling guilty for all the pieces you carved away. I've given you everything I have. You'll always be empty. And I'm the one that's feeling guilty, feeling guilty. You knew I would. And I've been down this dead-end road too many times to name. I've seen enough to know you're never gonna change. And I can't keep on waiting here for things to stay the same. Now I'm the one that's feeling guilty for having the strength to walk away. It's taken everything I have, 'cause I'm still in love with you. But I'm the one that's feeling guilty, feeling guilty. You knew I would. And I'm the one that's feeling guilty, feeling guilty. You knew I would. And I'm the one that's feeling guilty, feeling guilty. You knew I would.
I love your tone.
Thank
Hold on. First one, G man, Chris.
And the first couple phrases maybe were about me. The rest of it I don't applied. But
No, you seem too nice for that.
your tone is amazing. Like
Thank
you
you.
almost have this, like you mentioned Emmylou Harris and the songwriting and kind of, and there's almost like a,
I was thinking the 90s, dude.
yeah, I know, like an
Cheryl-
Alanis Morissette.
I was thinking
kind of,
Cheryl
Yeah,
Manson. I was thinking
yeah.
Manson. I mean, when you kept hitting that, feeling guilty, I was thinking,
Yeah.
I got chills because it
Yeah.
reminded me of like
Aw.
in college, like 90s.
Yeah.
God, you're just awesome. Let me hold your guitar.
I'm
Sit
just
down because I
blushing.
want to talk to you about a couple things, and I'm not rushing you.
Tuned. I noticed I was really out of tune. I don't know how that
wanna
came
talk
through.
to
on
you
this.
about- hold on. I want to talk to you about sleep, but
Yes.
also those beautiful earrings, girl.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Let's talk about this business that you got going on.
Sure.
I love side hustles.
Yeah.
So, when did you start the side hustle? Is it? I'm sorry. Is
Yeah,
it
it
called
was-
the side hustle?
Yeah, absolutely
Okay.
it is. Yeah. No, I couldn't sustain myself. It's not practical, honestly, to make money off this. It takes so much time, but I just love it. So yeah, pandemic was weird. I bought one pair of earrings that was similar to this, and they were so cool, but they do sort of get weird. Feathers come out and all that stuff. And I was like, I think I could fix them. I think I could do this. And so I just figured out how they were made and bought a bunch, like I said, pandemic times.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
on
I
average,
don't
how
know.
many birds a week do you kill to make these earrings?
That is none of your business.
So that there's a couple things. People always want to give me feathers. They're like, oh my God, I shot a bunch of birds. Do you want the
Yeah.
feathers? And I'm like, ugh, I don't know if you guys know anything about birds, but they're like full of viruses
dirty.
and stuff. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it freaks me out.
No, they're not. They're delicious. What
They
you
are
talking about?
delicious,
Yeah.
but they are dirty
The
too.
insides
Yeah.
are delicious. The
Yeah.
outsides are
Yeah.
full of viruses and weird shit. And like I couldn't live with myself. They are. I couldn't live with myself if I like gave somebody bird flu from a pair of earrings. You know what I mean? So I'm very specific about just buying feathers from places that are clean. But also one of the places that I order feathers from, they get their feathers from like the meat processing industry. So it's
Mhm.
birds that are already going to die, and they just
Yeah.
take the feathers and color them and
Got it.
clean them up.
But
So-
if you happen to like drive down the road and run into a bird and the bird hits your windshield and then it dies,
I look at it and I'm like, wow, I could use those for the, no,
would
just
you
leave them.
like consider?
No, I don't, because I don't know how to clean them. Well, because I emailed the company actually, because
Yeah.
also I have like a minor in chemistry, so I know a little bit about stuff. But I was like, I can do this, right? I can figure this out.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, well, we heat it to blah, 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 Celsius with perchlorate. And I was like, that is I'm not gonna. That sounds like a whole. I need a chem lab in the side room of the house, for all that.
Well, they have a lot of those in Oklahoma. Bad joke. That's a meth
True
joke.
though.
Such a bad joke. I meant that
Missouri.
was Dylan. I apologize.
No, it's Oklahoma too.
That
actually.
was Dylan. I'm sorry. Dylan. No, I think so. When did it start, and how's it been going?
Yeah, so during the pandemic, I made a few for myself. So when I started doing this, I'm like, I need a stage thing. Everyone's like, wear a hat. I look dumb in hats. It's not going to be a thing. So I was like, I'm just going to make these big earrings. I need something that's not going to make noise because I lean over my guitar and like I can't do heavy, clunky things. So I started making them for myself. And then a couple of friends were like, hey, could you make a pair for me? And I was like, I don't know. I guess so. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So I started a business and just run it through.
Love it.
So what's the business called?
It's just Megan Marlene Earrings.
Megan Marlene Earrings.
Mhm.
You got a website?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't have a storefront yet. So I don't have an Etsy shop or anything like that.
Okay.
So it's just, but I have cards I'll give you guys. You can scan the QR code.
Yeah, and we'll
I wanna-
definitely.
I want to get my Megan
Okay.
sister.
She will talk to.
So most of them are custom orders. So,
Yeah.
things like what are their favorite colors or if they want like long, short, whatever. I have all these different kinds of feathers.
What's
so.
an average pair of Megan Marlene earrings cost?
These big ones are
$8,563.
That's a better price,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, I feel like I'm on. What's the show? Price is Right.
Yeah.
How close am I?
$1, Bob.
But you did one.
$1.
All right,
These go for $35 usually.
Okay.
Everyone keeps telling me I should charge more, but
Yes.
I usually make them for my friends, and so
Well, how long does it take you to make them?
a while. I buy like their bag of loose feathers. Like I pick each one
Yeah.
out and trim it and crimp the little beads and then put them on
Well,
the
don't
chain.
give everybody your secret. I mean,
Yeah, you need to
I've
charge
tried
more.
to teach. I've
Charge
tried
more.
to teach. That's what everyone's.
Like
I
an
need to up my
hour?
price.
An hour per earring?
It's a lot more than an
2,
hour.
3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
but
got
is it kind of therapeutic in
It
a way?
is.
Okay,
It is. I love
it's
it.
Well,
another
that's the thing
artistic-
too. If you're passionate about it and you enjoy
Yeah.
it, then
And that's part of the reason why I haven't started a storefront because I know if I do that kind of thing and I start making and shipping more, because I do ship earrings too
Yeah.
to friends and family members who live elsewhere.
Right.
And so I know I'm gonna have to charge more, and I don't know. Like I said, I'm just. Plus, it does take time away from music. It really does.
Well, let me ask you something. I think, you knew about the podcast. We had talked about coming on. And so you know what I'm going to ask about, right? So sleep is vital. And we've had we were blessed to have so many musicians on here. Ben Brock, one of them, that,
Who don't
they
sleep.
run hard, man.
They
They're
don't
on
sleep
the
good.
road. They don't sleep good. And he's even in the sleep business with Zellner.
I know.
I'm curious about how you view sleep and then knowing about my passion and now this podcast. I mean, when you knew you were coming on where you're like, oh shit, either I'm going to lie about how I sleep, I'm going to be honest about how I sleep or whatever.
I don't lie about a lot of things, so.
Not everything. So
I'm
there's
pretty
some things
honest.
you lie about. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah.
But no, the sleep, talk to me about it. I mean, Brandon asked this great question as an opener. How many hours did you sleep last night?
I actually slept. That's part of the reason why I flew in early, actually, because I don't know how many hours I slept last night. My watch said 6, but then I went back to sleep and had like a 4-hour nap.
Mm.
So
No, it's good.
Is that considered a nap at 4 hours?
4 hours
I
is a
don't know.
long nap.
I
Man,
slept
that's
a lot.
beautiful.
I slept like shit last night.
Did you?
I slept
You
awful.
want to talk about it?
I don't know, man. Not really. Kind of
Okay.
stressed about it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's take it back to our guest then.
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
that.
No, so your sleep patterns your whole life. Do you feel like you've gotten enough sleep and you feel
I scrimp on sleep all the time. Like I never sleep enough. Probably 6 hours is my usual. But
that's good. That's so good. Why do people
6 hours, if it's consistent. It's
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
okay.
Has music changed it?
Yeah. So the most disruptive thing probably is the day job, night job thing,
Mhm.
right? So when I have to get up for my morning calls at 8 a.m. and then I also have a gig that starts at 10 p.m. Like
Ooh.
even if it's on a Friday, you know what I mean? It's just a lot of hours. I am amazing at naps.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fine if I can even just lay down for 20 or 30 minutes and just doze a little.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
so he
Power nap.
promotes. He promotes,
Mhm.
yeah.
a little just reset, like a factory reset.
Yeah.
I also was a bartender a lot in college. And so that taught me to like do that little nap thing and then you
Yeah.
get ready to go. But so I do find that like if I'm not properly rested, that I don't do very good with this. This takes a lot of energy to remember all your words and to like do the thing on stage and to be very present and just on all the time. And so if I don't have enough sleep, like I forget words, I forget
Yeah.
chords, like my brain just turns to mush. So
On a typical weekend, like let's say you gig to what JJ's Alley, I think you were just playing there. What time did you get home that night?
oh God, from JJ's is always late. So 3 probably.
Okay. What time did you get up that next morning?
So I usually try and be very specific about the way I schedule things. So my room has like blackout curtains.
Yeah.
And so
Good.
Yeah.
I sleep until, if I don't have anything planned, I sleep until I wake up.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So I just let my body sort of reset but again, the flip-flopping of the schedule can also be very tiring, you
Right.
know, because you're just awake for like 20 hours. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, one of my goals is to I have a friend of mine who is a labor and delivery nurse and she works nights.
Yeah.
And the way nurses' schedules work, 3 on, whatever off.
Yep.
And then she has a family, right? So she needs to kind of flip that. And I want to, I have her on an Avant, one of our devices, because she
cool.
was snoring.
Sure.
But finding out that she has to flip her schedule, it was that flipping. If
Yeah.
she was constantly staying on that schedule,
Mhm.
but she would have no time for her family,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
she just wouldn't.
No.
So she's making the choice. And how she goes back and forth is fascinating. I started thinking about that going, oh my gosh, my musician friends who work real jobs.
Yeah.
I don't mean,
I get it.
okay.
No, it is.
and I'm like, how the hell do they do that?
Mhm.
Jason Breed's a perfect example. He's a physician. He's
That's
a doctor.
crazy, I know.
It's just awesome. I mean, he
Mhm.
toured, and on the weekends he'll tour and then come back and here he is. So
Yeah. But Samantha talks about that too, being
Yep,
very
Sam.
present with musicians in their
Yep.
lives and
Yep.
gigs and stuff. And she's like, I have to perform surgery in the morning, so I need to go home.
Yeah.
mhm,
And I'm like, your day job is so much more serious than mine.
yeah,
Like I'm just answering emails and, moving zeros and ones around. But
disagree. I think all of us have a calling and you have this beautiful gift to sing and entertain. So the sleep has never been, it doesn't sound like sleep's been
I
an
don't.
issue. It sounds like,
I
because
can
even in
s-
college, bartending, you're like,
Yeah.
I got a hack. We love hacks.
Yeah.
And a nap is a hack.
Yes, they are.
It truly
Yep.
is. And if you can master that and it works for you, and you're young, Megan. I mean, you're young. So I think if it works for you, but your voice and the cognitive stuff that you were talking about, man, if you start getting on these other schedules.
But what you said earlier, like the fact that you recognize it, I think is the first, that's the first step, right?
Sure.
Because she said early on in the podcast, she was like, if I don't sleep,
Yep.
I don't have as much creativity. I don't feel
Yeah,
as much
it's-
energy.
mhm.
I don't, I can't do this.
Right.
So
I'm going to ask you a tough question and then I'm going to ask you to sing.
Okay.
One of the things that I've learned with our amazing guests that we've had on the podcast is having no other option to be successful, right?
Okay.
One of the things that we do very well on the podcast is to have these CEOs or these entrepreneurs come
Mhm,
in.
Sure.
And some of the things that I've learned from them, even my good friend here, is that eliminating all other options and just going for one thing.
Mm.
Is this a fair
get it.
statement? And then I'll ask you the hard question. How do you give 100% to music, earrings, and your current job?
I mean, the real answer is you don't.
Okay.
Right? You pick what the most important thing is, and that's and it has to fluctuate. And that's what I was
Sure.
talking about, cycles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when my day job gets really intense, like my gigging can also it can't also be really intense.
Yeah.
So I have to go through cycles, and you have to so my day job is very external. That's an external thing that I don't control, whereas music and earrings are a thing I do control.
Right.
And you'll see it in my social media, right? You can tell when my day
Yep.
job slows down
Yeah, I
because
can
I'm on social media more, right? I'm posting, I'm like on it. I sit down on a Sunday and I schedule posts throughout the
Right.
week, and I'm like on top of it, But then when you see me go away for 3 months, you're like, oh, that's the day job.
Well, and I think where I got that from, it was so funny because I view like Key West as fun. Like I go to have fun and see my
it's
friends.
amazing.
But I was asking you, and this is how spoiled I am in life. And I've chosen my path to be spoiled, but I don't think about, you're like, man, I had to take a week off of work to go to Key West
Yeah.
to do that. And then it
Mhm.
cost me this, and then I have to do that. And I just am so dealing with musicians or I'm dealing with business people,
Right.
that you have that combination.
Right.
So here's how I'm going to back up that hard question, Megan. I think if you're able to balance it, and so far since I've known you, you've been able to do that. And I do think you can be successful at many things. I will say this up front. I believe I'm successful at SomnoMed, and this podcast is successful.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So
From what I can tell.
what am I willing to sacrifice out of that for me?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm an open book on this podcast, unlike Handsome Dan earlier. It sacrificed my personal life.
The cheater.
Right.
Like it totally my personal life.
Right.
But I'm making that choice because these are the things that are important to me.
Right.
I have a goal and a set time that at this certain date, at this certain time, there's where I'm going to kind of change and then put that investment back in me.
Mm-hmm.
When you're constantly giving, because that's what you do at your job,
Mm-hmm.
that's what you do at your music, and that's
Yep.
what you do with your earrings. How do you get fed?
I'm still learning how to do that.
Okay.
So that's also the slower summer schedule because I just dove in headfirst with the music and that's all I did. Every free second was music earrings. And so now like Samantha and I have a trip planned out to Tahlequah to like spend at the river and camp, And so I'm figuring out how to go
Wait a
back.
second. Let me check my phone. I didn't.
You didn't get the invite?
didn't,
We'll send it to you. It's
what-
August.
What
No,
were those dates?
August
again?
13th.
No, I didn't. Nothing.
Okay, I'll send it to you.
Well, I have a new phone.
The
Could
more
be
the
that.
merrier.
Could be the
New
new
phone,
phone.
who dis?
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, let's get up and sing. I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I could dive into feelings, but I get made fun of sometimes. That. Let's jump in,
Sure.
and I want to hear the saddest song. No, I'm kidding. Let's-
I
Dan,
could.
we always leave it up to Dan. So I love doing this. I love doing this. So, and this is what I wanted to start being our thing. The last song Dan picks. So you give Dan a
Oh.
couple options of a sad, good, whatever, new, whatever. And then Dan's been money. I mean, money. Yes.
Yeah. You were money that one
We've
time.
done this
though.
one time.
And 100% is 100%.
Yeah.
Gosh, the man isn't in sales, is he?
No.
I know, just follow. He's not in sales. You just got to keep going with it, Dan. We'll cut that out. He's been 100%, man.
100%.
Okay.
We'll cut that out.
All right, Dan, you get to
Clean
choose.
up and editing.
Since I hurt your feelings earlier, you get to choose.
So I'll give you options. I have a cool story song that you guys heard in Key West. Not my story, someone else's story, but I wrote a song about it. I've got a couple of like really heart crushing songs about just like loss in general. The song that I have released that's out on all the platforms is a happy song. It's a love song. And then I have a new song
It's on the platforms.
about no, I only have one song that's been released. The new one, it's not anywhere actually. Okay, it's about not being an asshole.
So
Literally.
come on for you.
I'm not an
She wrote
asshole.
a
It's
song
about,
about you.
because I'm not an asshole. Wait, did I hear that wrong?
It's about not being. an asshole.
Oh my God, Dan, you're so like non-committal. Yeah, that one. Well,
But wait.
Well,
but
If she's not out,
is it
she
out?
doesn't want it to be out.
is it? Well,
See, I know I appreciate that because some people have like very specific schedules for things. And I'm still figuring all that part
do you
out.
need your capo?
No, I'm good actually. Thank you.
Every
I just
time.
feel part of the
Every
band.
time you
Yeah,
say-
I know it's good. I should have had you hand me my pick, I guess.
God dang it, I would have
The
too.
roadie.
I love being a roadie. That's how that's all my friends. That's what I would do for them.
Yeah.
Bring them drinks mostly.
But that's also like a fun part of knowing your like being friends with the musicians, right? Is like
It is.
helping out and like, man, I tell you what, being on stage when you're there, I drink a lot of water on stage. And so I'm just standing up there and I'm like, can I have a water, please? And they bring me like 3 ounces in a little plastic
You're like,
cup. I'm like, I need 32.
Megan, that's called getting micked. So they put a little something in there to get you loopy. And then what you
that
told
never
me?
one time happened.
Oh, okay.
I feel so cheated. Everybody else, did you get that? I never got that experience. I liked you better than me.
I did last night. I got it done too. I didn't do it last. Let's be clear.
You guys are ridiculous.
We are.
I love it. Okay, so this song, I don't know, it's like it came from multiple I find I do that a lot recently is like I pull a lot of different ideas together and kind of put them all together in the same space. But there's been a lot of like turmoil and like really shitty things, especially on social media lately, just all this hate being thrown around, and it really bugs me, and I don't think that we should lean into that. But also I was thinking about, if you see somebody who has like a broken arm or they're on crutches, you like open the door for them, or like help them carry their groceries to
Mhm.
their car. But if people are dealing with internal things, whether it's some kind of
Mental illness.
right? Which like a lot of us musicians have some things.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever, if it's just deep, profound loss or stress at work or whatever it is, you know what I mean? People don't give allowances for that, right? You just treat them like they're always the same as they have been when really both their arms are broken, you know what I mean? And they're trying to go through life. And so I was thinking about how maybe we should just be nicer to everybody.
I like that.
So the song's just called Be Nicer. Just because I wander doesn't mean that I am lost, but I am. Just cause I act brave doesn't mean that I'm not scared, cause I am. Just because I carry it doesn't mean that it's not heavy, cause it is. Just because I'm smiling doesn't mean my soul ain't dying, cause it is. If we wore our wounds outside us for all the world to see, do you think that we'd be nicer, maybe speak more carefully? So before you go judging those that you don't even know, think about the battles that they're never gonna show. Just cause I seem steady doesn't mean I don't feel crazy, cause I do. Just because I dream of you doesn't mean the past still haunts me, but it does. If we wore our wounds outside us for all the world to see, do you think that we'd be nicer, maybe speak more carefully? So before you go judging those that you don't even know, think about the battles that they're never gonna show. Just because I've been through hell doesn't mean that I am broken, but I am. Life can leave us weary and we're all a little broken, yeah, we are. We're all a little broken, yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. So maybe we should be a little nicer.
That's good.
Oh my gosh. It's like I'm thrown back in time. Like, you remind me, I figured it out. And hopefully this isn't an insult. Indigo Girls.
Oh my God, they're amazing,
You
right?
literally,
they're
that could have
so
been
good.
one of their Dylan's
Aw.
over their lap. Am I right? Yeah, it's like perfect,
Thumbs
man.
up, I love it.
Oh my
that's such a
gosh.
compliment. Oh,
That's
thank
what
you.
I was thinking. You know, Megan, it's just, are you guys feeling this? And Handsome Dan, please, I'm not picking on you. We are so blessed. Like, we have all these different type of musicians. We've never had something like this ever. And it's just, I'm just blown away.
I love your guitar, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's a story behind that. but
Let's hear it.
There's a story behind every. So Samantha's uncle had this same guitar. I borrowed it from him, Uncle Mike.
Mhm,
You met
mhm,
Uncle
mhm,
Mike?
mhm.
Yeah. He's a legend. Really, truly.
Yeah.
He's a-
But so he let me borrow this guitar because I was doing some studio stuff. And I just sort of hung on to it and I started gigging with it. And I was like, I love this guitar. My producer was like, listen, you need to do whatever you need to do to get him to let you keep that guitar. I was like, I'll buy it from you,
Yeah.
whatever. And he was like, no, I need that guitar back. And I was like, God, I was so mad because I was like, I fell in love with it.
Right.
So I started looking. I was like, I don't even know if they make them anymore. I don't even know if I can buy them anymore. So I started looking. I found this instrument 1.5 miles up the street at a used guitar shop. It was used. So it was half price. Yeah, like I drove in an ice storm to the shop and I was like, I need this guitar. The power goes out. And I was like, he's like, I don't know if I can run your card. And I was like, I don't care. I need just
Say, I'm going to run. Either you run the card or I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, I just need this instrument. And it's almost perfect condition. So anyway, It's a workhorse. It stays in tune. It's good at strumming, good with the finger picking, like the tone quality. I had a Taylor before. They're too bright. Martins are a little deeper and mellower, which suits my voice a little better, I think.
Yeah.
But the way this guitar fits with me, it's just, I love it.
I love it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Megan, we have so enjoyed having you on. And
I appreciate
and I
you guys
promise
having
you
me.
that we're going to have you back when everything gets released. Let's give us some more plugs real quick.
Sure.
Tell us how anybody watching this can find you.
Facebook, Instagram. That's probably, I don't know. I have cards with QR scanning things. Anyway, I'm on Linktree, so you put all your things there. I have stuff on Spotify, iTunes, like all the stuff.
Okay. So Megan Marlene Music, Megan Marlene Earrings.
Yes, MeganMarleneMusic.com is where it's my website. So it's also got my schedule. I'm on bands in town. You can follow me there. Facebook and Instagram is Megan Marlene Music. I don't know.
Have the earrings.
Yes, and the earrings too. So Megan Marlene earrings.
But they sound like they're
Instagram
all
and
linked
Facebook.
together.
They're all separate. They were all together, but I made the conscious decision, right, to split everything apart because it was just very separate.
Yeah, that's smart.
Thanks.
Well, good. Well, lean over and grab your drink real quick, Megan. We're going to do the final cheer.
That was such an easy question, but I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. I have so many, I was telling something the other day, I think I have 30 different accounts that I've signed up for with my music. Oh yeah. Because DistroKid distributes my stuff, and then the Linktree has a collection of my websites, and then it's just overwhelming, honestly. Just sign up for a new thing that distributes your lyrics, but it's a separate account.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So there's such a business, like the music
Oh my God,
business. It's the business aspect.
It has been tricky to navigate that because it's just me. I don't have help, right?
Yeah.
And so I've learned a lot. But yeah, I did my own website and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's
Good
just,
for you.
Well, listen, we are honored to have you here in Austin. And thank you so much
Cheers,
for sleeping
guys.
around with
Cheers.
Dr.
Thank
Brennan
you
and
so
Matthew.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
She's going to be great at the Violet Sky.
When the sun goes down and the moon is high, we'll be chasing stars till the morning light. Come on, fly with me.